Have you ever had that dream of having a fetish?
Well, too bad, that's evil and gross.
If you have one, you will die. Sha-la-la-la-la, Picsart.
You have a lot of audacity. If you don't die,
You only smoke in 10 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4.
3, 2, 1, boom, do wop.
Adult Swim. All kids out of the pool.
What's up, fellow quacks? The art community has a fetish paranoia problem. Yep, I said it. I've noticed that a lot of people in the art community really love to accuse artists of having a fetish when they might draw something a little too detailed, or maybe they just draw stuff that's just a little weird, because apparently the internet has gotten more puritanical, and I feel like this has leaked into the art community by accusing people of making fetish art when in reality those people usually aren't making fetish art. And also it's become an issue where people become insecure about the art. They think that they're secretly might be feeding into someone's fetish because they might be drawing something that's a bit weird or whatever. It's just really annoying to see how people have been acting as a result of this. I really don't think that we should be approaching like NSFW art in general, specifically fetish art, with this mindset. It's very harmful and it's just so negative, you know? We want to say before I continue that you don't have to like any of this stuff. You don't have to like fetishes or kinks or any of that. That's not the problem. If you don't like it, that's your prerogative. The issue is that people use the fact they don't like something as an excuse to harass other people. That is the problem. We gotta stop that. The main issue I've noticed that a lot of people like to use against fetish art is, think of the children. What if a child sees this? Most NSFW artists are usually pretty responsible with how they post their art. They usually will have tags, or they'll usually mark their account as 18 plus, and they might have a warning in their account bio that, hey, I make this type of art, so, you know, beware. Or maybe they'll say, hey, I block minors if you follow me. So it really is kind of on people who see the account and know that what they're doing and then following them and then bothering those people. It's really on them, to be honest. Like, yes, there are definitely a lot of people who make fetish art that kind of don't do the responsible thing of tagging their works or properly like censoring it or whatever when they post it. That is a problem. I'm not going to deny that, but most people usually try to be careful with it. And I just get this feeling that a lot of people really like to go out their way to harass these artists just for making fetish art when they're in their own little bubble. For example, yes, I'm gonna bring up Toy House again. There's people on Toy House that really love to put like fetish artists on their blacklists, and I'm like, guys, is that it? Really? They just make fetish art? You went out their way to go and find it. You're either projecting because you have a fetish for that and you hate the fact that you do, so you're gonna harass other people for it, or you're just trying to like virtue signal and make yourself seem like you're this great moral person for, you know, calling out this sexual deviant, when in reality this person was minding their own business. Because most of the time, a lot of these fetish artists are small accounts. They're not like well-known people within like the art community. So like the fact that these people are going out the way to bother them really shows that it's just doing it for the sake of being a hater. And like I said, you don't need to like the art. You can be disgusted by it, you can be weirded out by it, but like, leave them alone. They're not bothering you. They're not harassing you or forcing you to like their fetish art. They're just posting it online. And that's how a lot of people are on the internet. They post their art online. It's not always for you. I don't know why so many people have this like weird entitlement thing where they see something they don't like and they automatically assume it must mean that if I see it, that means, and I don't like it, that must mean this artist needs to be put in their place for putting this on the internet. No, leave them alone. And to continue on with the whole thing of the children argument, in general, I've noticed that people love to use this as like a shield for why they don't like certain things, why certain things be censored or like just not existing on the internet, which has become a really dangerous talking point. I've noticed, like, you notice how like on the internet thing lately, like there's a lot of censorship around certain topics because like, oh, think of the children, what the children find this? And it's usually something that's like not that bad or whatever, or they're using it as an excuse to basically like silence certain things. Like, you know, for example, like anything LGBT related. Oh, think of the children, what they discover, like sexual deviant stuff in the LGBT community. And I'm like, interesting. So yeah, it's really not about the kids. Y'all don't care about the kids and their safety. You only care about what you find uncomfortable and using them as a cover-up. Because let's be real, the same people that usually will say think of the children probably are the types of people that would probably bully the same kids that post their art online, and their art is, you know, very obviously beginner art and it's got a lot of flaws to it. You know, the type of art that gets roasted on TikTok, and a bunch of like art drama YouTubers will make videos about like, oh, the new art drama about how some 14-year-old drew something and the art looks a little silly because, you know, they're a beginner and they're not good at it, and all these people are bullying them. Like, where are you guys when those kids are getting bullied, huh? Like, do you really care that much, or are you just only caring when it comes to something that you find uncomfortable? Think about that. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of artists have worried about secretly making like fetish art, as in like they'll draw something, they're worried that it might be a secret fetish. Like maybe they will draw something like, for example, feet. Like maybe they're drawing a pose where the feet are foreshortened away so they're facing the viewer very prominently. So they gotta make it a little bit more detailed so that way, you know, it makes sense. And they worry that like, oh guys, don't worry, it's not fetish art. I don't have a foot fetish. I'm just drawing the foot because blah, blah, blah. Like, I really hate that. I hate that people are like censoring themselves. They're sort of like trying to damage control every time they post anything because they're worried people might perceive it as a fetish. Like, I've seen people go to the lengths of literally like censoring feet or whatever, which, I mean, I feel like the whole running gag of foot fetish has become like a huge thing. I don't even know if it's that common really, because I don't even see that much fetish art of feet. I've seen like other things, but feet is like the thing I've seen the least, honestly, but whatever. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people really like to just backtrack whenever they post certain types of art, or they have to constantly explain themselves as if they're worried that they're going to get canceled for seemingly making fetish art. Like, I came across an account on Instagram, I don't even remember who, so I'm not even going to say who, but like, they made a post where like, oh, I'm just making this innocent art, and someone apparently accused them of making fetish art, and I saw the art and I couldn't even tell what the fetish was, and I'm like, what? And everyone in the comments was like, what are you talking about? What are they talking about? And that's the problem as well. Like, some people are just drawing stuff and y'all are just throwing out fetish without even knowing what it means. I think the word's starting to lose its meaning. No, having a fetish is not drawing the same thing over and over and over again. Like, just because someone likes to draw a certain thing over and over does not mean it's a fetish, okay? I feel like we're losing the meaning. We're losing the plot a little bit. But I will say there are definitely some fetishes that are more tame visually, or they might be really hard to detect because they're so tame, they're so chill, or they're more wholesome. Like, I don't know other words to describe it. Like, for example, the pool toy fetish. Like, it looks pretty innocent at first, but it is one. So, like, I can understand people seeing it and not realizing it is. They might just think, oh, this is so cute and silly. Like, I can understand maybe people feeling a little betrayed when they find out it's a fetish, right? And, you know, because of that, some people who make that type of art might not even label it as a fetish because it's like so innocent looking that people who might see that might be like, wait, what? It's a fetish? Oh no, this taints my view of this art now. It's gross and nasty. Like, yeah, I can understand being a little upset by that. And another thing I wanted to address is that I do agree that it is not good when some people who have like a fetish will commission somebody and like the fetish is like innocent or something that's really tame, and the artist doesn't realize that it is a fetish until after they draw it. Like, yeah, don't do that, you know? Don't ask for art from somebody or commission somebody for art and have it be like a secret fetish. I feel like that's really messed up. Just be upfront with people, you know? Like, most people might be okay with it if you just tell them instead of being secretive about it, because I do think that does break a lot of trust, and that might also be a reason why a lot of artists in the art community are like kind of wary of fetish artists, because, you know, there are definitely a lot of people with fetishes that like to break trust and like to be secret about things and like to sneak fetishes into places where they really shouldn't be without giving like a heads up. And yeah, that is a problem. That is quite invasive. You shouldn't be doing that. If you have a fetish or a kink or whatever and you want to like have it be drawn or you want to express it, then you can, but you gotta let the people or whoever know first instead of being secretive about it, because if they don't, then that's weird. You know, people don't consent to being a part of like some fetish if they don't know about it. That's not right, unless that's that person's fetish, which is not good. Like, we gotta be mindful of people, okay? To end this video off, I'm just gonna talk about how the whole puritanical mindset has infected like the art community, has just become really sad in a way, because I feel like people really devalue NSFW art and fetish art particularly. There's a lot of words thrown around about how like they're wasting their potential, their talent, or whatever, or if an artist just happens to make NSFW on like us the side and they make something that's popular, people will find their NSFW art like, oh no, they make porn, guys, they make porn, like, I gotta tell everybody about this. And everyone's like, okay, or the other people start to freak out. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I used to love this artist and now they found out they made porn. That's so awful. Guys, it's not that big of a deal, okay? Like, why are we trying to make this seem like as if this is a gotcha moment? It's really not, especially if the artist is doing on like a side account. They're obviously making sure they're being separate about it. They're not fusing the two together. Like, that's pretty responsible, but no, you guys went out of your way to find this account, or maybe it was already linked to their profile, but you still went out of your way to go to it, and you had to raise the alarm. You gotta tell everybody about it. You gotta act like as if this is like a big deal, like it's the biggest news ever. It's not. It's not a gotcha moment. You're just being silly. And honestly, I've seen some people accuse others of fetishes that are so stupid that I'm like, all right, this is just getting out of hand. Now you're just basically being a hater. Like, I saw someone, I can't remember where, but I do recall someone, they were like, oh, someone accused me of having a woman fetish because I drew attractive women. And I just had to sit there and I was just like, okay. So you basically just told this artist that they have a fetish for women because they draw one as attractive. Guys, is it a fetish to draw a gender you might be attracted to as attractive? Is that a fetish? I also feel like that's a little misogynistic in a way. I mean, maybe if the art was like super objectifying or whatever, maybe it could be like, I don't know, a criticism, but it just baffles me, you know? Some people just call things a fetish when it's not. Like, also, this is an issue whenever artists draw fat characters. Like, the amount of times I've seen people be accused of having a fat fetish when the art is just of a fat person existing and they're just seen as desirable and attractive, suddenly that's a fetish. Like, no, that's not a fetish. Guys, just because you draw certain things attractive does not mean it is fetish art. And same with disabled people. No, just because you draw a disabled person as attractive does not mean you have a fetish for disabled people. I've even seen people like accuse people of just drawing disabled people regularly, not even like within a sexual or sensual context, as having a fetish. And that's just so fucked up that, you know, certain minority groups are just not seen as desirable by these people. And so whenever they're drawn as desirable or just normally, they think it's a fetish because, well, it must be a fetish because why else would you draw fat people? Why else would you draw disabled people? Because, like, that's weird. Don't you think it's a little weird that you're drawing those people? I need you to think about that for a second. Really think about that. Why is it that you see that and you immediately think fetish? That is a you problem. That is not the artist problem. That is a you problem. But yeah, I mean, I repeat my points from the other Toy House video here. I just really think it's kind of messed up that people really like to accuse others of fetish art and stuff, despite the fact that they're not making fetish art. Stop being paranoid about accidentally maybe drawing fetish art and just keep doing your thing, okay? If you don't have a fetish for the thing, then you don't. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. I'm so tired of people being paranoid about it. It's so sad, and it's honestly just kind of frustrating that people feel like they can't draw certain things because they're worried about fetish accusations, or even worse, they're afraid of like accidentally appealing to someone with a certain fetish. And if someone does have a fetish for it and they see it, like, and they comment on it, for example, you can just block and delete the comment, okay? I understand being uncomfortable by certain things, but don't hinder yourself just because you're worried. Just chill out. The whole art community is just chill out a little bit, okay? So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this interesting video, and I'll see you quacks later.